After a very good TakeOver show last Thursday, and of course the ending to that main event involving Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I was very much looking forward to seeing what was going to happen on the show with regards to these storylines and with regards to some of the characters on the show, especially Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I was really wondering, was Sami Zayn going to be there? Are they going to sell this angle? I was really wondering what they were going to do with Kevin Owens on his first NXT show on the WWE Network after TakeOver. Were they going to have him involved in a match? How would they book him, etc. So there was a lot of things that I was very excited about going onto the show. Like I said, especially after that TakeOver Our Evolution show. May not sound too excited, but that's mainly because I have a bit of a sore throat, so I can't really talk as enthusiastically as I would usually do. If you have any comments on this show or any comments on what happened at NXT TakeOver Our Evolution, please let me know down in the comment section below. So the first piece of news we got in this opening promo segment between Adrian Neville and Kevin Owens was that Sami Zayn wasn't going to be there tonight, which was a little bit of a shame after TakeOver because what happened in the main event segment with Kevin Owens did kind of take the shine a little bit off of Sami Zayn's title win, which they've been building up to for quite a long time. But like I said in the review, it gave us a nice reason to look forward to this show, although some people did say, why don't they just have Sami Zayn have his moment on the show and then maybe do that kind of angle on here. But I think more people would have been watching NXT TakeOver Our Evolution, which would have meant they probably would have got more eyes onto the next show. So I kind of see exactly why they did that. And, this opening promo segment was with Adrian Neville coming out and sort of challenging Kevin Owens, while at the same time, talking about how he felt like his friend Sami Zayn deserved the championship and the better man won. Now, this made a lot of sense. Kevin Owens and Adrian Neville. Kevin Owens is out there because he wants to get to the top and will go through anyone to get there, just like his vignettes have said. And so we pretty much got our main event here. It was a pretty average opening promo segment, in my opinion. I would have hoped Kevin Owens would have said a little bit more on the mic. Adrian Neville just seemed a little bit dodgy on the mic here, kept kind of repeating himself a little bit, so he'll need to work on that if he's going to be involved in the main roster at some point. But a solid opening promo segment here between two characters that would have some beef with each other, setting up what could be a blockbuster main event later on in the evening. So as we saw on the TakeOver Our Evolution pre-show, we had a segment on there where I believe Bayley was talking to one of the backstage interviewers, I think it was Alex Riley, and Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks attacked her from behind, and that led to this match here on NXT, where you had Bayley facing off with Becky Lynch. And there was also a period in this, you had a backstage interview, a half-decent backstage interview with Becky Lynch. You don't get many of those. Finally telling us, why she went to the dark side. That was to get to the next level of NXT, which she wasn't doing, smiling and losing every week. So there is an element of truth to that. And this match was pretty simply booked. I mean, you had Bayley in a knee brace or a leg brace. You started off with brawling, which is exactly what these two characters should be doing to start off a match. Becky Lynch went after the knee, and she wins clean with a new submission hold, which mainly targeted the knee. So the match didn't go on very long. I mean, Becky, you've just established that Becky Lynch has turned in this new direction because she wants to win matches and she wants to move to the next level, and now she's beating a Bayley. So her reason for turning to the dark side actually makes a lot of sense because you've now backed it up by having her beaten an injury-stricken Bayley. So you got a little bit of heat on her that way as well. So we had this backstage segment with the Vaudevillains going into William Regal's GM office, and the segment itself, while I thought it was quite clever in one way, I also thought it kind of shitted on the rules of wrestling in another way, and I'll explain that more as I go into it. The whole concept here was that Simon Gotch apparently, according to video footage, wasn't the legal man in their loss to the Lucha Dragons at NXT TakeOver Our Evolution, and the Vaudevillains were using that as ammunition to get some kind of rematch. And I just found it funny that they were, using this video showing skit, because while it is very logical, and while it is something that you could definitely pertain to in real life and also in sports, like I said, it also kind of shits on the rules of wrestling a little bit, because there are many wrestlers in the past that, could have done it. And you're just thinking to yourself, well, it kind of takes that cheating heel dynamic out there. If one person does it, then everyone will do it. Do you know what I mean? So while I thought it was quite clever, I also thought it was kind of silly as well. But in this situation, it looks like they're going to get a rematch next week against the Lucha Dragons. Hopefully this one will get a lot more time. and be a lot more competitive and just generally be better than the one they had at NXT TakeOver Revolution, which I personally thought was a little bit disappointing, but also solid. So they're still sticking to the simple build-up with this Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin feud. They had Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin go through jobbers. Well, Baron Corbin went for his jobber in about 15 seconds, which is about 30 seconds better than Bull Dempsey managed to do. So they did the usual stuff here, the usual simple booking these two guys as monsters, not having them touch too much. So when they eventually wrestle, it'll be like Major Force versus Major Force colliding, which, you know, really is a hark back to the old school of wrestling that they used to do, you know, back in the olden days, I guess. But only this time, you had Bull Dempsey kind of pushing Baron Corbin, and then backing away a little bit. So you've had them touch a little bit. You're continuing on this feud storyline very simply and effectively, in my opinion. So fresh off their loss to Finn Balor and Hideo Itami at NXT TakeOver Revolution, the Ascension faced Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore, or as I like to call them, Team SOWFT Soft. And, you know, the Ascension did actually jump these guys a few weeks ago, so this did have some storyline sense to it. And I also found it quite funny how Team Soft gave us their rendition of 7 Days of Christmas, which is really funny. And I will not try and repeat what they said because I am not worthy. But the match itself, it didn't go very long. You had Enzo Amore tag himself in, then get distracted by Carmella, and then get beaten. And I'm just sitting there thinking, are they really going to try and do a breakup angle with Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore? I hope they're not going to do that. I hope that was just a way to have Ascension win quickly, in which case I don't know why they couldn't have won clean. But I hope they're not going to try and split up Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. But at the same time, you can sit there and say, you know, of these guys, what more can these guys do as a tag team? I mean, they're not really tag team championship material. They're just entertaining guys. And would it be better off if Colin Cassidy went off on a singles run and maybe Enzo Amore be his manager or something? You know, I don't know. It's just things I'm thinking of. If Colin Cassidy gets called up to the main roster, Enzo Amore, there's no point in him being a wrestler. May as well have him as a manager. So we'll see what they do there. But I was just sitting there thinking, you know, what? But anyway, at least they beat Enzo Amore, which is, I guess, kind of realistic. And then they get on the mic afterwards. And basically the Ascension say the war between them and Hideo Itami and Finn Balor isn't over. You know, and I guess there was a logical conclusion at NXT TakeOver Revolution, especially after the way Hideo Itami debuted the one before NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way. But I suppose Ascension are being brought up to the main roster now, so it wouldn't hurt if they put over Finn Balor and Hideo Itami maybe one more time on the way out. And we've seen vignettes of them on Raw and SmackDown of the Ascension, and it looks like they're going to be off to the main roster soon. So I wish these guys good luck. Even though usually when WWE takes guys from NXT, their stock usually goes from there to about down there within about 2-3 months. But I wish good luck to them. You know, I think this Ascension gimmick is something that could definitely catch on in WWE and maybe, you know, research some sparks into a somewhat dying tag team division, so I'm hearing, on WWE TV. So as advertised earlier, our main event was Adrian Neville versus Kevin Owens. A bit of a blockbuster match if you're, you know, if you're an internet fan. And I must admit, I was looking forward to this match. And the first thing I noticed here was, I understand you wanted to get some heat on Kevin Owens. You know, he debuted as a babyface. He's just done this awesome heel turn, which the fans cheered for, you know, at TakeOver Revolution. You want to get some heat on the guy. You know, I just wonder, was it really necessary to have him keep rolling out the ring? I understand that, you know, they were getting heat on him and he was getting a few boos, but you know, the guy's supposed to be a fighter. His character is supposed to be a fighter. This may be just a wrestling bubble thing, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if your guy is a fighter and he wants to take on any newcomers, he wouldn't be rolling outside of the fucking ring. You know, it's just my opinion on that one. Also, something else I really didn't like about this match wasn't necessarily the finish. It was just how the finish could have been done. You know, that corner spike DDT was a pretty brutal spot. It really was. It's the kind of spot that can definitely get you a free count. But the problem is, you know, they did that spot, and then he kicks out at 2, and then 30 seconds after that, Adrian Neville's fine, he's making a comeback, and then he's diving to the outside, and then they do a double count out when Kevin Owens throws him onto the stairs or something. And I'm just sitting there thinking, you just did this awesome spot, which could have easily have ended the match, and this is some ROH crap. This is exactly the kind of shit you used to see in ROH, where you used to have a great finish set up, and then you could never satisfy the crowd with the finish that you actually planned. So I don't know why they didn't just finish with the corner spike DDT spot, which is obviously a way to finish a match. Just my opinion there. I don't know. I suppose they had a double count out here, so these guys could fight somewhere down the line. You know, my guess is that Sami Zayn is going to come back to TV maybe a month or two down the line, and while he's off TV, these guys are going to be in some kind of program, and they're going to have another match maybe a month from now, and that will lead to Sami Zayn coming back after Kevin Owens defeats AJ and Neville. I suppose at the end of the day, while I thought the finish was a little bit stupid, at least Kevin Owens got the ultimate heat with the powerbomb on the ring apron after the match, similar to what he did to Sami Zayn. So, you know, we'll see. Sami Zayn, he's injured. We'll see what happens to Adrian Neville. Will he be okay? Is he more superhuman than Sami Zayn? It's like comparing John Cena to Daniel Bryan. I guess we don't know, but we'll see what happens there. I'm going to now give my overall thoughts. So I think the main thing about this show, which is really going to deter my opinion, was what they were going to do with Kevin Owens. And they had him in the opening promo segment, and they had him in the main event of the show, and they had him face off against the former longest reigning NXT champion and fight him to a double count out and eventually end the show on top. So I can't be too disappointed with the way they booked Kevin Steen on this show. I mean, he's the new character, he's the new top heel, so they needed to establish him good this night. I felt like they could have established him a lot better by having him defeat Adrian Neville clean with that corner spike DDT, but they didn't quite do that. And that was the most important thing about the show, was establishing Kevin Owens as a top guy on NXT and a top heel at that. You know, other than that, I'm quite looking forward to seeing, you know, what the loose ends they're going to tie off, which they usually do with rematches, you know, after the TakeOver show. I'm looking forward to seeing them just tie some of these loose ends and seeing what new stuff we're going to get down the line. And most importantly, I'm looking forward to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. You know, a lot of people have said, oh, we've seen Kevin Steen versus El Generico in 2010 and a little bit in 2012 on ROH. Well, I must admit, I never actually saw it. So I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing what these guys can do in a WWE bubble, in a WWE ring. You see what they can do with psychology, not just the hard-hitting stuff, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do on the mic, what they can do in a storytelling standpoint, what they can do psychology-wise. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not just looking to blood and guts like they did in our Final Battle 2010, you know, which was a great match. I want to see something a bit more along the storytelling route, something a bit more WWE that maybe even a casual fan would tune in to see. But anyway, if you have any thoughts on the show, put them in the comment section below. I'm just going to cut this off here. I'm sorry if this hasn't been a great review, but I've been feeling a little bit ill, and as you can tell, I've got a bit of a sore throat, which is why I've been talking like this. But thank you very much for watching if you have. Goodbye.